for blood. Better run, better run. Here it comes, here it comes. Better run when the wolves come out to play.
So, guys, how you doing? Hope everyone's all right. So this is a basically a little bit of an introduction to one of our new members, Kyle. Thought we'd talk about his Wolves journey, how he became a fan, and all the important things that we need to know about new members. This lovely little pack that we're doing is growing, which is amazing, and Kyle is one of those new people. He's also got some cool facts about VAR, which literally no one in all of the Wolfpack chat on Facebook, none of us knew what he was talking about. And he just sent like a random voice message and told us about all these amazing facts, and we were like, bloody hell, all right, sound. And then little Ashy boy said, oh yeah, go on, do a little video. And I thought, you know what better to do a video than a little Wolfpack video on here. So lovely jubbly, that's the introductions out the way. Kyle, how are you doing? How's your day been?
I'm all right, man. Hello to everybody as well. I'm good.
Yeah, cool.
Even better after a 2-1 winner
mate,
today, so that was bonus.
How good was that?
We made it hard for ourselves, though, didn't we?
Well, I'll tell you what, we won't talk about that game because we're doing a live coming out soon, and we're going to be talking about the last two games that we played. So we won't talk about them too much, but bloody hell, it's good to get a win, and that's probably why we're in a decent mood. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle, I hope you're good. Tell me, how long have you been a Wolves fan for?
Literally since birth, since I knew what football was, man. Like
wrapped up in a scarf.
Yeah. My dad, he basically showed me the ways of the Wolves. Really. I don't know if his dad, my granddad, was much of a football fan, but my dad definitely was. And
basically, you had no choice.
Well, and I wouldn't have wanted any other choice.
No.
Because we're Wolves, are we?
Exactly that. Lovely. And we're matching shirts, and we didn't plan that either.
Yeah. Love that.
started the chat, and there he was in his bloody blue shirt, and I was like, you know what? I ain't taking it off.
One, though. It's a good shirt.
Love it. Nice one. So, briefly tell me what you think about the season so far under Gary O'Neill.
I think Gary's done a great job. I really do. I don't. How people can slate him or want him out is beyond me, because I think from where we were under Lopetegui to now is just such a vast difference. And I don't think Lopetegui was doing a bad job as such, but I think Gary O'Neill's just took us to a different level, and I think he's got the players playing out exactly how we need to play, and it's entertaining to watch. You know, we're creating more chances, and it's probably still not enough, to be honest, but we're creating more chances, and we're feeding the ball into our key players, and the build-up plays nice. So it's working, it's clicking, and I think kicking on next season, you know, when we've got a little bit less financial fair play to worry about, I think we'll be going forward, and I think we'll really kick on next season.
I think as well, is his man management, isn't it? Like, you had Lopetegui before, caused a load of ruckus. You had Bruno Lage before that, and I mean, I've had people talk to me about Nuno before, and if he had a spell of games, he struggled to get the dressing room on board, and I feel like Gary O'Neill, what he does more than anyone that we've had for a while, really just gets the team on board, and we saw that from day one. As soon as the United game kicked off, you saw exactly that the players wanted to run for him. You saw players just completely evolve before our very eyes. It was awesome to see, and I said this on the.
It has been a lovely season to watch, to be fair, and it's as
definitely
a fan, I think we've finally got our Wolves back.
Yeah, mate, definitely. And I mean, you could also say, results haven't been going our way, and we get a win against Luton and everything's great. I don't think that's the case. I think we're just happy that under the transition of managers, like that he was given 4 days to be able to, you know, give us moments that he's given us in this season.
Yeah.
You know, no one could really believe it. To be fair, I think if this season
not easy
ends,
as a manager either, man. It's such a difficult job. I don't think people
No.
realise how difficult it actually is, and that
Mm.
like I've managed grassroots level, and it even at that level, it's difficult. It's non-stop, and
it's pressure in it. It's like
going out on a
pressure or
Saturday, organising the players and doing a little bit of training, and that's it. Like, but it's not. It's there's so much else, and obviously in Premier League football and professional football compared to grassroots, there's so many like nooks and crannies that you have to tick boxes, and you know, there's loads to divulge into, isn't there? And all of that comes down on the manager, and he's the first to go if anything goes wrong. So
yeah,
I think if anything was going to go wrong, it probably would have done by now. And I think Gary O'Neill would have probably gone by now. But I think he's just showed what an actual quality manager he is. And the way he's got them players together, like you said, 4 days to prepare for the, you know, a massive season. And now
what's your player of the season so far?
I've liked Mario all season, you know. I think Mario's just been solid. Yeah, it's probably going to be Mario, if I'm honest with you.
It's weird.
Or Ryan Aït-Nouri. I think
we've had a
Aït-Nouri's
season,
had a
haven't
quality
we?
season.
We've had a season where actually there's been quite a lot of players that could, you know.
Yeah, I think they can all turn it on, though, can't they?
Yeah.
You know,
Like
when
there's
when
a
it's
lot of
needed.
players now. You know, I'll buy a Wolves calendar. I always do. You know, and I always flip it, and I'm always like, bloody hell, it's him. But
Yeah.
there ain't many of them this season, other than maybe some players that kind of don't show it enough. But
Yeah.
even those guys have shown moments of brilliance and whatever, you know. But yeah, I've been really impressed with how he's handled the squad as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've come across a load of injuries and whatever, and I liked how he's implemented some of the youth in, and just kind of proved Lopetegui wrong that, you know, start of the season he was the one talking, you know, saying to Spanish media that the squad ain't good enough and everything, and that's before a ball's even been kicked.
Yeah.
And he just comes in and he's like, you know what, yes they are, and I love that. That's like one
Yeah,
of
well,
my.
I think because he's seen the game as well. He's seen what English football is, obviously, as a player himself. And he's, you know, I think he's just come in and he's gone, we have shit to deal with. Deal with it. We've got a job to do. And that's what Wolves need. I think a lot of Premier League teams need it, but there's too many like players coming in trying to be the next Pep or, you know, the next Sir Alex Ferguson, trying to change every tiny little detail. And sometimes it's a lot more simple than that. You know,
I think that's why United wanted him for in their coaching staff, because there's a lot of qualities that Gary's got that a lot of managers don't have. And yeah, okay, no one's perfect, are they? Do you know what I mean? And
no.
even like managers that have done well this season, like Unai Emery and everything, you know, I've been told by Arsenal fans of the past, you know, he's got things in him where he's quite stubborn and stuff, and not very adaptable. And I see that in Gary O'Neill as well. What do you think about the way like he can adapt to game and stuff?
It's massive. It for a manager that it's huge in it. You've got to be able to change things at the last minute or see things before they can happen. Like I learned that at grassroots level when I was getting all like my coaching badges and stuff. And even as a player, like you have to adapt to certain situations, and it is a massive thing to be able to do. And if you can see what's going wrong when you're 1-0 down, you could come back and win the game 3-1. If you can see what's going on, like look at the Coventry Man United game. Their manager had a look at it and realised what was going wrong at 3-0 down. They come back, they should have won that game 4-3.
Oh mate, I'm gutted for that. Honestly,
like,
I watched it.
And I did. I couldn't believe it. And to have that resilience and to get your team behind you at 3-0 down to a Premier League side, that Championship team could have just gone, it's a different class. And it is, but they didn't. They had that mental resilience. They battled on, and they should have won that game 4-3. And
I wanted them to, mate. I think a lot of us did, to be fair.
Yeah, I
because
did, especially
even though they
considering
beat,
us out.
yeah, but that's the thing I was going to say. Even though they beat us, like, there's no hard feelings. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, the better team won on the day, and
Yeah,
that's how it is, isn't it?
definitely.
In football, you know.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter about the class of whatever. It's you got one game, and
Yeah.
if you win it, you win it, and if you lose, you lose. And
exactly.
and to be fair, I just think that they deserve to win that one against United. I
did.
don't particularly like United, just because of like growing up and having so many of my mates support United, and just became a very like glory hunter sort of
Yeah.
mentality that I just hate. I don't like it. So when I see you know, not doing so well and whatever, like, I got to admit it, like, I do like it. So I was really gutted that Coventry didn't pull away from it, to be honest.
And I thought, to be fair, after the first couple of penalties, I thought they're going to do it as well, but it just wasn't to be. But I think going back to Wolves, I think we've shown moments of that, you know, under Gary O'Neill, and it does come from the training ground and the backroom staff, because if they ain't got the trust in the players and the players ain't got the trust in them, they're not going to go on the pitch and perform, and it just goes to show like how crucial it actually is in those big moments.
Cool. What's the highlight of your season so far? Could be a game, could be a goal, could be whatever you want.
To be fair, it's a bit of a funny story here. I went the last game I went to. Don't manage to get up very much, but the last game I went to was Wolves Brentford, and Mario Lemina scored that really early goal. And I was meeting my dad and my brother up there, and I got there with a ticket. So I said, I'll send them on your phone screen so you can get in, and I'll just meet you in the stadium, because they were running a bit late. And I managed to get up there. Game kicks off. I'm ringing them up, going, "Where are you?" No answer. Well, we'll be there in a minute. Right, okay. The goal goes in, and we win the game 1-0. They'd still not arrived. So for me, that was probably my personal highlight. The fact that I saw a goal and they never. And
I've had a few moments like that where like you've gone into a stadium and like there's already something happened, and you're like, "Oh crap, what the hell's going on?"
Mate, you hate it, don't you? Because you think, "I paid for this ticket. My season ticket's going down the pan here."
Honestly, that happened. I took my missus for the first time, and it was Tottenham in a cup game, and
Nice.
we walked in and we'd already heard cheering, and I was like, "What the hell, man? We've already scored!" And then I looked down, and it was all the Spurs fans cheering, and I was like, "Look, you literally looked at my missus like, oh, should we even bother, man?" Like, this is just like literally the game just kicked off. I think Mascara got injured, and then they scored. That was literally all I could hear from like walking up the stairs. I was like, "Great stuff."
It's mad, like, you know, how that much the game can go past, and yet something big can happen in that sort of time. It's crazy.
And it's mad how the memories that we remember are these like always these like really like strange, obscure memories that a lot of
you
people
always
don't
remember when you're at the game more than when you're watching from home as well.
Yeah, like, definitely.
If you ask me like bits about the West Ham game, I never went to the West Ham game. But if you ask me bits about that, I'll
lucky.
Be like, oh, do you know what I mean? I'll be like, oh. But then you ask me about that Brentford game.
You tell
or one of the ones I went to this season. You know, I'll be able to tell you a lot more, because you live in the atmosphere, don't you?
Oh yeah, so you're in the moment, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're sort of part of it, aren't you? Which is great. Cool. All right, so got to know a bit about Kyle, which is really cool. Obviously, he's going to be doing some videos on the live that we're going to do soon, and he's also going to do some videos himself, which is really cool. Some like factual videos and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about what you said today. So let's think about how we're going to do this. So basically, you've got some facts about VAR. So tell me sort of what you told us. And
so a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't realise what VAR is actually used for. A lot of people think, they're turning over offsides, or they're turning over handballs and stuff. VAR's not actually there for that. VAR's not allowed to give offsides or handball. They're not allowed to instigate that there's been a handball. But what they do have to check is only 4 things, and they're only allowed to check 4 things by the book. Whether it's a goal or not is 1. Number 2, on whether it's a penalty or not. 3 is whether it's a direct red card. 2 yellow cards doesn't count. And 4, which is the most obscure for me, is a mistaken identity. So it's like when the referee cautions or like sends the wrong player off or something like that. That's what the mistaken identity is. We don't see it a lot, but again, that they're the only 4 things VAR's for. So the reason we see it for offsides and handballs is because usually it leads to a goal or a penalty. If it's in the middle of the pitch, they can't give it. If the player jumps up like that with his arm and misses it with his head and it touches his arm, unless there's a goal that comes from it, or they can't give it.
So is that why VAR checked the goal that was against Coventry when he sort of handballed it?
VAR check every goal regardless.
So they were but that one in particular they were going to disallow because of a possible handball. So they look at it and then they look at like what could have stopped it from being.
Yeah.
The trouble is with VAR though, and obviously we've talked about it a million times. But like, there's so many grey areas, aren't there? Do you know what I mean? There's so many, rules that some of us don't even know, and then even the ones that they know, sometimes they are not sure, and like the inconsistencies are just ridiculous.
I think that's what aggravates us as fans so much, because whether you're a fan of a certain team or whether you're a neutral watching a game, you feel sorry for the players and the managers and everyone who's involved. You think, oh God, look what's happening here. And you think, oh, is it not Nottingham Forest being an absolute howler when they should have had the 3 penalties? To me, I'd have probably said it should have been 2 penalties. I don't think the first one was I don't think there was enough in it. But I think the other 2, they've got to be given. And when you're checking things like this as VAR, you've got to have the consistency there, because if not, there's all the contradictory.
People are going to look back, isn't there? People are going to look back. Yeah. It's like the Anana thing today. Anana does exactly what he did to Clydesich, and they've given a penalty today. And it's like, okay, I'm glad you have. Yeah. But it's kind of shitty how you didn't, when it mattered for us. Yeah. And obviously we got an apology for that. So hopefully that doesn't happen in the future. Yeah. But hopefully like if that happens next year, then it's an issue. Yeah. Because then we've seen it given from, the game today.
So I think they just really need to patch it up and fine tweak it, or just get rid of it. They need to make this.
I actually, no, I'll be honest. This is my genuine assessment of VAR. Just get rid of it. Genuinely, the game I enjoyed the most this season was the West Brom game, and it wasn't even because of the occasion. It wasn't because we won the game. We could have lost the game. It didn't matter. What mattered is when that ball hit the net. I celebrated, and I looked at the linesman, and that was it. That's all I looked at. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I looked at if the ref blew his whistle or the linesman put his flag up, and if they didn't, I went mental. And today, at Molineux, the ball went in the net. We kind of celebrated, but then we were like sort of cheering up until he blew the whistle. So we're going, oh, and then as soon as he blew the whistle, we were like, hooray!
And that's just what it's come to. It's
ridiculous.
It's funny, it's banterous, but it shouldn't have come to that. We shouldn't have got to this point in our Premier League that meant to be the best league in the world. It's vastly becoming not the best league in the world, and it doesn't feel as enjoyable to watch as it used to, and it's really sad, because I know we're not the only ones who are feeling like this about VAR, and there's so many things about VAR that people don't understand. Like they can only overturn 4 things. VAR can't even instigate the referee to go and look at the monitor. They can only recommend the referee to go and look at it. They
It
can't.
feels like that though, doesn't it? It does
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
that because like the ref's sort of like chilling, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden he's like, "Oh shit, what do you want me to do?" I look at the
Yeah,
monitor,
yeah.
and I got footage of of the decision against Bournemouth, and literally he's looking at the screen for ages, man. He's
Mhm.
literally there going, and you could just tell in his mind he's going, "What, what's wrong with that?"
Yeah.
And then they're going, "Well, there's some contact, violent conduct, blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, fair enough. If it's violent conduct, why am I not giving him a red?
Yeah.
Why is it a
The,
yellow?" And
what it was for me, like, I don't know if anyone listening's seen my video in the We Are Wolves chat on Facebook, but
yeah, reassess that. Go on.
yeah. So the initial contact was Cliver on Cunha,
Mm,
right? So taking that alone,
mm,
Cunha wouldn't have reacted if there wasn't the initial contact
yeah,
because Clivert's coming to the back of Cunha, give him like a little nudge and a shove as you do on a football pitch. You know,
mm.
we're all human. We all get in the moment and
Bit of to and
whatever.
fro.
Yeah. And Cunha's gone, sort of, get off me, right?
Mm,
The initial contact was from Clivert. So, if anything,
mm,
advantage to Wolves
mm,
because the initial contact's on Cunha. So, advantage to Wolves. Both players then carry on the field of play.
mm,
The ball gets played out to Doc, who gets closed down by Clivert.
mm.
He then plays it to Semedo. Semedo crosses it and Hwang gets it in.
Yeah,
So,
it's mental.
for me, if you're going to pull anything back, you've got to give the goal for the advantage to Wolves and then
Mm,
go back and book the players, book them both.
mm,
But Cunha was the only one who got booked, and it's that bit that didn't sit right with me because the initial contact was on Cunha,
mm.
and I just didn't get it. It completely baffled me, and I
No,
was
I
like,
think I
how is that
think
not?
like what's silly is from what I know, if there's violent conduct, it's never a yellow, it's a red because you shouldn't do anything that provides any sort of violent conduct. It's similar
Well,
to
yeah,
like what happened against Joe Gomez uh,
mm,
against Brentford
Brentford,
when he
yeah,
was on the ground.
yeah,
Or was it Lamina? No, I can't remember who it was. One of
I
the
think it was
midfielders
Joao
anyway.
Gomez.
Yeah, he was trying to get him off, weren't he? By
Yeah,
like getting his leg
mm,
off him because he was holding him on the bloody floor.
mm,
And because that went to violent conduct, he had to
mm,
have a red because
mm,
those words were used.
mm,
But against Bournemouth, we've been told the reason that it didn't happen is because there was violent conduct in the play.
mm.
So why didn't he get a red card?
No idea.
It's like they just make
It,
it up as they go along.
yeah,
It's just
there's so much like grey area because it's
it's
like
just
you
silly, man.
go back and say like I don't think they're sure half the time. They're looking at
I
it
just want
going,
him to
okay, we could
just get rid of
disallow the
it.
goal for that, but you know, is there enough in it? And you watch it back and it nobody wants to see decisions like that given because
Do you think if they just went, nah, all right, guys, we're just going to scrap it until the technology's better, and we've got more sort of ideas of how we're going to go move forward with it, and they just scrap it. I honestly think people will like football again.
yeah, I think so, and I think if they're gonna if it's gonna work, I think it would have worked by now for one.
No, yeah,
And
and the thing is, people argue and say, "Oh, well, it's the people behind it," and yeah, that's true as well. But you've also got to think: does it really need to intervene on
yeah,
certain things? Like,
yeah,
does it need to intervene when like against West Ham?
mm,
Does that really need to be in, like? Does that need to intervene in that area? No, it doesn't. Does
yeah,
it need to intervene if there's violent conduct, but yet the player who is against stays on his feet and
mm,
carries on in an action, and then
yeah,
doesn't even react after the ball's in the net?
yeah.
It's like no common sense goes into any of these
No,
decisions. It's
no,
just
and I think the problem we've got is people behind VAR. A lot of them have never played football, never like been involved in football as such. They're all just looking and they're analysing it, and that's it. They've never been in the heat of the moment. They've never lived and breathed the passion that we have as, you know, even growing up as kids at grassroots level. Again, you felt the passion there because it's your club, and you know, nobody wants to see decisions like that given, and it's a real shame. But yeah, what baffles me is only the referee can initiate a review. Like, a lot of people don't know that, but it's the referee on field that can initiate the review. VAR can only recommend a review, and that is the exact wording on the
So
on
if
the law.
if something happens, the ref has to be like, the ref has to check in with VAR, not the other way around.
Yeah. VAR can go, okay, I think you might want to just delay, like we've heard them going delay. We're just checking the goal or whatever,
But
and then
the
if they
ref
do
can't.
please,
Oh, sorry. The ref has to instigate something if
so the
they've
ref's
not said anything.
the one who initiates the review. VAR can recommend a review.
Got you.
So that's the exact wording. VAR can
So
go.
really, in a
VAR can be the
roundabout
first
way.
people to turn around and go, I think you might want to have a look at this, mate. And
Yeah.
he
So
can
in a
go,
roundabout way, if that is the case, then really what should happen is the ref should just have more backbone.
exactly my point. I've said it
Because
time and time again.
because they don't. They just
No.
they just literally go, oh, I've looked at the screen and they told me to go here, and I'm looking like an idiot now if I don't give it or whatever. And I'm like, when this came about, the whole VAR thing and the whole screen situation, when you look at the screens in the stadium, why is it that every single time they look at the screen, it goes for VAR and never for ref? It's always this thing now we've all come accustomed to. As soon as they go to the screen, it's like, oh well, that's it then. And it's like, why should it be like that? Because the ref still has a say. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on the pitch.
The ref has got the final decision. This is, I think it's like number 5 of the laws or of the game or whatever. But the ref has always got the final decision, either based on information from VAR or after the ref's undertaken the on-field review. So it's there's no time limit. He can take as long as he could take a full 90 minutes to look at it if he wanted to. And it's genuinely mad, like, because they say accuracy is more important than speed, but
it's not though, is it?
you're getting like added 10, added 11 and 12 minutes
because like
of the
you
game.
look at how many injuries have happened this season, and it goes on stop and starts. You know, if you keep stopping the game and the momentum, you have to get, you know, back into the game again. You got to keep yourself warm, say if it's cold and stuff, and all of these little things. But it still takes absolutely ages sometimes, and it's just like, I think what should happen, right? It's always this clear and obvious thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if something's clear and obvious for me, right, and say my screen's over there, and I look at it and go, oh, I'm not sure about that. Automatically, just give the goal.
Yeah, because it's not clear or obvious.
Because you ain't sure. As soon as that enters your brain, after watching it a couple of times, just go, yeah, I'm not sure about it, so I'm just going to give the goal. That's what it should be. Award goals, because there'll be more of them. If you look at it and go, I'm not sure, we'd appreciate that, regardless, even if it's against Wolves. I'd rather it just keep the game moving, because
what
there's so many
me that
times.
they've not done with VAR at the moment. Why are they not letting us hear what they're saying?
Oh, mate.
That seems really secretive to me.
I literally
Like,
had.
they do it in the NFL. They do it in the rugby.
Yeah.
They do it in a lot of sports, even like tennis. You can hear the umpire.
Do you know what it is? Yeah.
What's going on?
Do you know what it is? 9 times out of 10, they're all mates. So it's not like a professional sort of situation. Do you know what I mean? It's like if me and you were around, like you were on the field and I was at VAR, we'd talk like this. But really, it should be a professional thing, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because every single time I hear the audio back, if they ever show it, it's always like they always say it there by their like nicknames,
Yeah.
and they're like, they're very pally and
Yeah.
and it's just like you can't have that because then you
No.
feel it's bias there.
Yeah.
As soon as you feel like you're not being professional, then it becomes weird to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. There's something really strange about the fact they've not let us hear it in the stadium yet.
I got told by Wolves associates because I was in a box for the Bournemouth game. Bournemouth game. I was in a box for that, and guy came in, lovely guy, absolutely fuming. He was like, I just can't believe this happening again. It's just it's killing the game. Blah, blah. Having a conversation with him, and I just said, look, I'll be frank, mate. Like, do you know why? They don't show, VAR decisions on the screen. And he said, well, we did for a while, but then the Premier League said, and I said, everything you say, by the way, is it okay if I pop it on Wolfpack and everything? He was like, yeah, whatever, it don't matter. And I was like, okay. And he was like, basically, Premier League turned around and said, we don't want you to put the decisions on the screen, like as they happen, because we don't want the fans to get riled up. And my answer to that was, get the right decisions then.
Yeah.
Because if the right decision happens on a monitor over there, I'd just be like, oh, fair play, look at that, he's way off. Or,
fans are getting rolled up
definitely
anyway.
hit his hand.
Yeah. You can see it. You only have to watch a replay. Fans are getting rolled up.
The unknown is worse than
it is.
fact.
Really is.
The fact, if it's factual and you see it,
to lay out the facts now, because people are even sitting at home looking at what we know is a handball, like, handballs from like anything from here down is handball, but it's not. There's technicalities in it. It's like from there or to the bottom of the armpit or something stupid like that. I think it's the bottom of the armpit or something, and it's like if the ball's hit like under here and then come up and hit the arm,
what are you supposed to do?
If you're in motion, like you've jumped up or whatever, it's natural to jump up with your arms because you give yourself more leverage like that. And like handball from a certain distance away, and how much time have you got to react? Well, everyone's reaction time's quicker than other people's. You know what I mean? It's all different, and it depends how you run, and how you play, and
it's all done.
What is a normal position?
It's all done from a certain subject, isn't it? Like it's subject. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
Like it could be like the other day. We could have had a different ref for when that ball goes over the line from that Kilman header against West Ham. When that guy it got disallowed for Twanda being in front of their goalie. A different ref might have looked at that and gone, "That's fine."
Yeah.
So
and that is the problem. You've hit the nail on the head. That is the exact problem.
Yeah, it needs to be across the board because the word subjective was used when they were talking about that on Sky Sports. They were like, but it's a subjective offside. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
So it's subjective. So like, I feel like saying it's offside today. So it's offside.
Yeah. I've got the laws of
subject.
offside up here because I thought this might come up. I've got the laws up here somewhere.
Go on. Give me.
Yeah. So offside position, it is not an offence to be in an offside position. So you can stand offside all you want.
Yeah.
A player is in an offside position if any part of the head, body, or feet is in the opponent's half, excluding the halfway line. So if he's on the halfway line, it's fine. If he's over it, offside. Any part of the head, body, or feet is nearer to the opponent's goal than both the ball and the second last opponent. The hands or arms of all players, including goalkeepers, are not considered for the purposes of determining offside.
So arses are though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if Kilman had a smaller ass, he wouldn't have been offside against Bournemouth.
basically. Yeah,
So funny, man.
yeah. So literally just hands and arms. Yeah, the upper boundary of the arm is in line with the bottom of the armpit. I thought it was. Yeah, the bottom of the armpit. So it's there to the bottom of the armpit.
That's
Anything
ridiculous.
there, that's your arm.
That's absolutely ridiculous, man. Like,
Yeah.
how in the hell are you supposed to get your arm out the way if it's your entire fucking arm?
Yeah, and they go on about natural position. I don't think they actually outline that in the offside rule. I'm trying to have a little scan now. I don't think anywhere in the actual ruling says in an unnatural position anymore, because I think they took that out.
Did they?
I think they did, because let me just have a look.
In a natural position? Or in a unnatural position?
If it's unnatural,
Oh, unnatural, yeah.
I think they took that out of the handballing rule.
That happened to Bolly, didn't it? The first time we went up against Leicester.
Yeah, it still happens now, and you think, I think that's why the Ashley Young one was deemed to be not handball, but his arm like right out there, because apparently that's a natural position, but for another player it might be an unnatural position. I don't know.
But it's not even just that. It's for another set of eyes. It's all subjective again.
Yeah.
Like for me, if it's subjective, then just don't bother calling it.
Yeah,
because it
it's
should
exactly
all
right.
match.
There's got to be more clarity with the referees between themselves, with VAR, and with the players and managers. If you can go into a dressing room and go, look, I'm your ref today. This is what I'm going to see as offside. This is what I'm going to see as handball. Sound, because then you know. But
they need more interviews as well.
Yeah,
they need like it would be great if right at the end of the game, you know, you've got your player interviews, you've got your manager interviews and whatever. You got your man of the match and whatever, and then right at the end you got a ref panel, and they talk about the decisions and everything. Because I just think then you just go in, fair enough, you know, he's explained that, and that sounds all right. But
that's all we're after is an explanation. That's all most fans are after. They just want to know why it's not been given, because then we can look at rule books.
But that's the annoying thing is they're so protected. It's untrue. Like, you can't talk to a ref about anything without getting fined or anything.
No.
And I'm sorry, but you've just got to have a bigger backbone as well, because if you've given a shitty decision in a game and you're getting annoyed because someone's running up to you aggressively, you know, shouting at you, well, do your job better then.
Yeah. And that is their job. That is literally their job.
Exactly. Like you get paid. You get paid to do your shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't do it right, then you're gonna get yelled at, ain't you? That's just life.
Yeah.
It's like there's such
it should be coming
petulant
from
kids.
higher up.
Yeah.
It should be coming from the top. Because if I went into work half-assed, my boss would be like, Kyle, what are you doing?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because it wouldn't be my colleagues or
No.
like the parents of the kids that I teach.
But the hilarious thing is, it's like fucking parents' evening though, isn't it? Because you've got like Howard Webb and Michael Owen, you know, going, oh well, as you can see, we're going to talk about this decision, and then you've always got Dermot, what's his name? Dermot Gallagher, is it? And he always pro referees. I've never seen Dermot go, yeah, he's got it wrong there. It's literally all the time. I agree with the ref, actually. I agree with the ref. I'm like, well, you're the only fucker that does.
Yeah, and tell us why then. Because we never get that either.
He does, but in a way that's quite clever. Cause
exactly, that's what I mean.
Yeah, he'll go, oh yeah, well, and I'll talk it out and whatever, and then move on to the next thing, and it's like, that's great. Thanks for the points. Cheers for
hard,
that.
Isn't it? You know,
appreciate that a lot.
It's hard, like with offside, like someone in the chat said, I think it might have been yourself, said if somebody's toenails offside, like what does it matter?
But yeah, like offsides were brought in to stop goal hanging, weren't they?
Yeah.
They weren't like they weren't going, oh, well, let me just get my microscope out and just double check
Mm,
whether the attacker is slightly ahead of the defender. It's
mm,
like, that's going to happen, though, because in the
yeah.
action, there is no fucker in the world who's got the brain power to look down the line at all of the shit that's happening in the
Mm,
action and go, am I a toe offside? There's
yeah.
no way you can do that. It's
No.
inhuman. It's inhuman. You can't
Yeah,
do
it
that.
is.
So
What amazes
therefore,
me again, going back
it,
to the camera angles that we're seeing and the VAR, when we're looking at an offside, why are we looking that way
yeah,
and not that way?
yeah. It's always
You know
at
what
a
I mean?
diagonal.
We're always looking at a weird angle. Now,
Mm.
that will completely change your perspective.
Yeah, it
And
will. Yeah.
I don't think the lines are straight in some
Well, that's why they're
occasional.
doing the new offside thing, because
Yeah,
that does develop a straight line.
yeah. But how many cameras are you going to have around the ground then? There's going to be more cameras than fans because you've got to get in every inch, every tiny little detail, and the
Mm.
cameras. I don't know how it's going to work, but it's like semi-automated.
I'm not
Isn't it?
sure how it works,
I ain't got a clue.
but they've had it for a while. Apparently, it's just that a lot of them don't use it. It's like being sports
Mm,
have a version of it because it was used against Liverpool when they said they couldn't find a camera, and then
mm.
they gave Lopetegui the being sports footage, and that's what he was looking at when he got up,
Ah, okay,
and that was the same exact technology.
okay.
It's basically what it does is it AI generates where the attacker was and where the defender, the nearest, no, the defender that was furthest forward was, and then it sort of gives you a very accurate bit of information as to where the ball was
Mm.
travelled at the same time. Because at the moment,
It's going to be one of
it's
them, and
like
it's trial and error. If you
yeah,
if you bring it in
at
and
the
it doesn't
moment,
work, get
yeah.
rid of it before it causes problems.
But they didn't do that with VAR. That's the issue, isn't it?
This is it, and this is why we're
And
talking
then they
about VAR
spent
every week.
so much money on this
Mm.
enormous facility in Stockley Park, which is laughable. It's got jacuzzis and shit.
It's crazy. I know.
It's like you spent that much money before you even knew if it was going to
Yeah,
work properly or
yeah.
not. It's
Mm.
actually ridiculous.
Mm. I don't think there was ever any question of getting rid of it. It was just it's in,
Yeah,
deal with it.
that's exactly it. And you'd
Mm.
understand why Sweden have turned around and been like, "No, we don't want it,"
Yeah, and I
because
don't
it's
blame them. I
no,
do not blame them in the slightest. Do not blame them.
no.
There's
So
there's so much grey area.
out of the things that we've said, then,
Mm.
so it checks for what was it? Was it
Checks for a goal.
goals?
So yeah,
Goals.
we'll try the first one, the goal. So there's a few little bits in checking a goal. So attacking team, like in the build up or to like the scoring of a goal, they then check for like a handball, a foul, or an offside.
Yeah.
So that's what VAR then look for when they're checking a goal. They have to check every goal. They have to check every penalty, every red card, and every mistaken identity, because that's what VAR is for. So the fact people moan about VAR checking a goal, they have to. That it's not a case of, oh God, they're checking it. They have to check it because that's what VAR is for. They check if the ball's gone out of play in a goal, whether there's a goal line or no goal line decision, and an offence by a goalkeeper or kicker at the taking of a penalty kick, or encroachment by an attacker or defender who becomes directly involved in play if the penalty kick rebounds from the goalpost, crossbar, or goalkeeper.
Which happened against City
Yeah,
on the 4-3.
yeah. So again, retake then.
Yeah.
Brushing onto penalty kicks, attacking team offence in the build-up play to the penalty kick incident. Again, they check for handballs, fouls, offsides, things like that. Again, ball goes out of play. A lot of it cross references. To be fair, there's a lot they check for multiple decisions. The location of the offence, so whether it's inside or outside the penalty area, the penalty kick, whether it's correctly awarded or incorrectly awarded, and then how the player should be penalised. And that again takes us on to our direct red cards. VAR can go right. He's on a yellow. They can remind the referee that he's on a yellow card, but they can't say, I think that might be another yellow. They have to only have an input if it's a direct red card. Yes or no, regardless. They can't say, it's not a red card, but I think it might be a yellow. It's either a red card or it isn't. And again, position of the red card. Is he the last man? Is he denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity? Is there serious foul play? Is he out of control? Is he reckless? A lot of these words and phrases you'll hear going around.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Violent conduct, pushing back onto that, biting, spitting, all that kind of stuff. VAR is looking for in a direct red card, and then using offensive or insulting or abusive actions. So,
can you explain the Lemina second yellow when he went up to the referee?
Which one was that?
Do you know when against? Oh God, who was it against? I can't remember.
Trying to remember that now.
Yeah, so Lemina got a yellow in that game, and then he got a second yellow because apparently he ran up to the referee in an aggressive manner.
That'll be what it is. Again, the direct red card using offensive, insulting, or abusive actions. That'll literally be that one. And then whether the referee on field's made that decision or VAR fully have the right to check that. And then the ref can go, well, he said this to me. And that'll be what that one was.
Cool.
Yeah. I can't remember the incident myself, but
Yeah,
that'll be what it was.
That was.
Yeah.
Absolute nightmare.
And again,
I think it's because no one says anything. It's just like, he's a second yellow, and everyone's in the ground. It's like, what? What did he do?
And this is the thing. As soon as the ref goes, right, here's a yellow card for the foul, he can go, but I barely touched him, ref. And he could literally say it like that, and the ref could go, that was a bit aggressive. There's another yellow. When actually,
they've got so much power, haven't they, man? It's so.
You know what the funny thing is?
Dangerous.
That second yellow isn't a yellow card. It's a red. It's a straight red. If the ref deems it to be aggressive, it's a red.
It can just straight out says
it's a straight red. Yeah. So you don't then go yellow card, red card. You give the yellow card for the foul, and then you go red card for offensive and abusive actions.
So what does it mean when they say a clear and obvious error?
I don't think anybody will ever know. I think the wording of clear and obvious, let me try and find it, because I'll have to read this one out.
Because it just frustrates me. And I tell like, while you're looking, there's been so many situations in which that's their thing they go back to every single time, man.
Yeah.
Like every time there's an incident, well, it wasn't clear and obvious, or well, it was clear and obvious, so it was overturned. And it's like they just use that like it's like something they put on their coffee cups as a slogan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so pushed around.
The wording on that one is the original decision given by the referee will not be changed unless the video review clearly shows that decision was a clear and obvious error. Which again goes back to Cunha last week. It's not clear. It's not obvious. So the goal
they shouldn't have
even intervened because it's not clear or obvious. By all means, check it because you have to check a goal anyway. But that is not clear and it's not obvious, so it doesn't go any further. It's what they call a silent review. So that should have been a silent review. The referee should have never have ever got involved in that silent review. He shouldn't have even been told to take a look at the monitor, or recommended to take a look at the monitor, should I say.
And there's it's not in writing anywhere as to why they, once they look at the monitor, that is the decision of VAR, and not, it can't be a refereeing decision. It has to be VAR decision when they look at the monitor.
The use of VAR in football matches is based on a number of principles, i.e., some of the ones we've mentioned, like the clear and obvious, which must apply in every match used. The VAR is a video assistant referee, is essentially another match official with an independent access to match footage, who may assist the referee only in the event of a clear and obvious error or serious missed incident in relation to goal or no goal, penalty, no penalty, direct red card, or mistaken identity. Apart from that, they cannot get involved.
So next season we'll probably hear the serious missed incident slogan as well.
Yeah,
fucking t-shirts for all these.
Yeah, again, it's. I think that to me is the only way they could have implemented that Cunha challenge. But again, it goes, if it's serious missed a serious missed incident, it's a red.
That's what I said.
And
if he got, the thing is, if he got a straight red and then they showed us after, they lashed out, and the player went on the floor as well. If the player went on the floor out of the action, and then the goal went in, I don't think they'd even check it. I think they'd just run up to him and give him a red. It was the fact that the player didn't really give two shits,
and nobody in the ground did, apart from the people at Stockley Park, and they've gone, and I don't know what has been said because we don't get to hear it, but have they checked the goal? Yes. Is the goal fine? Yes.
From what I've heard from Nuno as well, by the way, the stuff that he heard, because obviously they asked for the audio, is pretty dodgy apparently.
What from
they haven't obviously, they don't have to post it anywhere, and I don't think Nuno's allowed to say anything. I think he had to sign a waiver before the club was allowed to listen to it, but he can say obviously he doesn't agree with it, and he said that that he's basically come out and just said that it didn't make any sense, and it
what
just
with the Cunha one.
No, this is for the Everton Forest incidents.
Oh yeah, fair.
Because obviously they asked for the audio, didn't they? Through law, so there was nothing really stopping us from doing that. But to be honest, it's like you can't do nothing anyway.
And this is the thing: whether the audio gets released or not, there's no repercussions, and it's just the team that scores and gets the goal struck off.
And the refs just that it's so funny in it. It's like,
have you noticed no one's going on about our second goal that game?
Oh,
because we all know it was offside.
Yeah,
it was tight. Don't get me wrong, but it was off. It was offside. I called it at the time. Even watching it live, I was like, "He's off." Great finish, by the way. But he was offside, and no one's going, "Oh, he was never offside there." Blah 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 blah. Or, "Oh, that was tight. Are them lines drawn properly?" We all knew he was offside.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
It might have been by that much.
It's not like it's not like what they're saying to the associates. So they were saying to the Wolves associates, "Well, we're not going to show him on the screen because it'll antagonise the fans." But it antagonises the fans more when you don't show us.
Yeah.
And if you did show us, we wouldn't. Honestly, I'm not joking. Marlon, you would look up at it and go, oh, "Fair enough. Yeah, fair play." If you get the right decision, and if you're too scared to show us,
I genuinely do think 80% of fans would, and I think the other 20% can be a little bit delusional sometimes and just want their best, want their team to win on the day. I think the 80% of fans, I think, would look up at the screen and go, oh, "Okay, yeah, fairs."
Yeah, but the thing is, they're too scared to show you because the decisions they're actually making are subjective and contentious.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just
I'd like
didn't
them to
make
see, if they're
those,
not going to project it to the stadium, bring in the two managers when they're going to have a look at the screen.
yeah,
Like, bring it in
Mm.
and then bring him in and have a chat and go,
do you think
this is
something would
what
be
I'm
cool?
looking at.
Do you think it'd be cool if you could like, if it was timed, so they only get a certain amount of time, and if they don't do it in a certain amount of time, it just goes to the attacker.
I don't know, because there's a grey area with that, because if it is a tight one and they have got to really draw the lines on with this offside, for instance.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. They shouldn't do that. If it's that close, just fucking give it to the attacker, because it's impossible for him to know.
Yeah,
If he's
but
like,
then there's the
if
grey
he's like
area, how
way
close
off.
you have to be.
Yeah, but if he is way off, you're going to see it anyway, and it won't take
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Yeah, but then
It
again,
only
that's
takes
what the
it
line
only
people
takes
for, the
long.
assistant referees are for.
I know, but it only takes
Right on.
long if they're looking at it and it's close. But if it's that close and it's taking that long, then it should just go to the attacker.
I see where
Regardless
you're
if
coming from with it, I
it's
really
against
do.
Wolves, I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? If it went to VAR and I was like, right, they've got this amount of time, let's have a look. Yeah, that's offside. Bosh, done. Unless they and if they just went, oh, we're not sure. I'm really not sure. We haven't got enough time, guys. Let's just give it to the attacker. Mate, there'd be so many fucking goals, man. And I'd just be so much happier.
I think with the timing thing, there's arguments for and against. And I think everyone will always have for and against arguments for it, because I'm a bit on the fence with it. If things were to be timed, I think, would it rush the refs to make a worse decision, or would they just be like you say, okay, it's not that clear and obvious, so let's just get on with it.
But that's the thing. Don't bring in the phrase "clear and obvious" if when it is clear and obvious, it still takes ages.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either one or the other. You either get rid of that idea, and it just takes ages because you want to get the right idea. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't make any sense. It's counterintuitive, isn't it? Because you're literally going, well, I'm not sure.
They don't know what clear and obvious means.
That's the shit thing, isn't it?
They're not clear on what is clear. They're not clear on what is obvious. You know, these people have never played football. These people have never lived in the atmosphere. And this is where I go back to what I was saying before. They've not even played at grassroots level, half of them. So they've never felt the passion in the stadium. So is it obvious, or is it obvious because you're looking for it to be obvious? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you have an argument for the missus. Like, is it really that deep, or are you just looking for it to be that deep so we can have an argument? Do you know what I mean? It's
What a
right though,
metaphor.
innit? It's right though, innit?
It's gonna pull up VAR every time me and my missus have a row.
Yeah.
Hang on. And see, now you've raised your voice a little bit there, haven't you? So come on. Is it a clear and obvious error?
Video assistant relationship.
Oh God, that's phenomenal.
But yeah, they don't know, and there's so much uncertainty, and I think as fans we can only say so much, can't we? And we get bored of it, and this is why I deep dive into things, because I just want to know everything about everything.
Yeah.
I'm a bit weird when it comes to stuff like that, because
my style of a video is to be in depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these kind of videos, I don't want to be like 3 minutes long of just whatever I think off the top of my head. I like to have in depth conversations, and that's what I like about the Wolfpack. It doesn't matter if a video's like over in a certain amount of time or whatever. You just if you want to watch it, you watch it, and and we fill it up with as much as we can with what we're thinking about until we stop thinking about it, and then I'll stop the video.
There's even that I'm scrolling through all this VAR stuff now, and it's like pages and pages and pages long, and it's like
that's the
I've
thing,
only
isn't it?
bits from it, and even that is pages
Do you
long.
think they keep adding to it as well?
To be fair, I don't know.
Because
I don't
like
know. I think they make
one
stuff up as
season
they go
goes
along.
along.
Absolutely.
Do you think one season happens and then they're like, okay, this happened in the season, you know, like I don't know, Mo Salah, this happened to Mo Salah, blah blah blah. Let's put a rule in so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. I think they do that, and I think they do it to try and better the game. I don't think it's necessarily malicious to put
No,
something
that's
like
I
in. I
wasn't
think
saying
they
I
try and
wasn't
go
saying that.
for
I'm
instance,
thing
if
is
something
I
happened
am
to
up. Thing is, I am absolutely up for them just for VAR to get it right,
yeah.
and if it does get it right,
I
then
think there's so many
I'm
of
up
us who
for
want
it.
them to get it right. Like they've smashed it in the NFL. They've smashed it in so many other sports. Football is the only one
Yeah, it's just
what we hear
football, isn't it?
about where it's going wrong. And why is it going wrong? It shouldn't be that difficult.
No.
I put in the Wolfpack chat earlier about corners and goal kicks. Should VAR just say, actually, mate, that's a corner, or actually, mate,
Yeah,
that's a goal kick? That would take seconds,
yeah,
10 seconds max, just to
yeah,
say,
yeah.
oh, that's come off Ait Nouri's leg, or
Mm,
that's come off the centre back. That's actually a corner. But
mm,
then again, we'd see more goals because
yeah,
goals coming in from corners, like our goal
yeah,
today, got played to the edge
yeah,
of the box. Lamina swung it in. Totti just nutted it in the net. Like
mm,
that came from a corner. So if you
mm.
give people more opportunity to get corners, we'd see a lot more goals. But
I
then
think they
again,
should
you'd see
just
a
be
lot more
more
disallowed
pro.
goals, like the Kilman one. So it's
Mm. I think they should just
which
be
way do they
more
go?
pro goal though, more pro attacker.
Yeah.
Because I think like it's very rare
Mm,
where you know it's pretty much all like a VAR action is always in the opposing box, isn't it?
mm.
So if you get
That's
it
what we want to
wrong,
see as fans as well. We want to see more
yeah,
goals. We don't want. We want to celebrate, like you said. You wait and you go, ooh, and then the ref blows his whistle and you go, hey. You know what I mean?
oh, it's
It
so
shouldn't ever
boring,
have
man.
come to that, and it is sad that it has come to that, man.
It's killed
It
football,
really is.
mate.
It has,
It,
and this is why so many people like don't want to come and watch games anymore because they're just like, oh,
well, they've
I'm
said
getting
that
bummed out with it.
there's quite a few people they've turned around and said just flat out that they're not going to renew their season tickets
So many,
because
I've seen it, and it is upsetting because we could fill them all in you.
yeah,
Like there's like how many on the waiting list,
I know.
you know, and it's what do you do? Do you want to go and watch that shit every week or not?
Well, the thing is, I think I would want to watch it as long as there's more communication between the VAR and the refereeing. If there was more communication in stadium, or even if it matched what you saw
Mm,
on the TV,
yeah.
because like when I went to that box game, they had a telly literally in the box, so
Mm,
every single time there was a VAR decision, they were all disappearing into the box. I'm
mm,
watching it on TV,
mm,
and I'm like, why the hell are people who are watching the game on TV
mm.
who aren't contributing to the club better off?
Yeah.
Do
I've
you know what I
I
mean?
I genuinely think what I would love to see VAR do, and I think it's important that it does happen, is scrap the apologies.
Mm.
We're not bothered about, oh,
Yeah, it
sorry,
don't
yeah,
do
we got it
nothing.
wrong.
It
What
literally
we
does
are bothered
nothing.
about is that goal should have stood, you
Yeah,
get a goal.
yeah,
That will then change the result of the game.
mm.
Give the points back to the team that suffered.
Mm.
Like if it's a penalty, you can't do anything. You could miss a penalty.
Mm.
The keeper could save a penalty. You can't give a goal just because a penalty decision hasn't been given. But when
Yeah,
they're checking a goal and it's not been given, but it should have been given, and they're
mm.
going, yeah, okay, sorry. Well, give us that goal back then.
Yeah,
If we lose 1-0, like we did against Bournemouth,
mm.
give us the goal back. Draw.
Mm.
We're happy
Mm.
with the draw.
Mm.
We shouldn't have won 2-1, even though we had 2 goals disallowed, because the second one was
I think
offside.
that's it,
Fair
isn't
enough.
it? I think
But give us that goal back at least.
if you can take away points from a team for doing dodgy financial stuff, you should be able to add points for certain things as well.
Mate, it's so easily done. It would be so easily done. You literally just you can do it at
Like
grassroots.
if it's what it
You can
should
just
be,
change
yeah.
change
What it
the
should
result
be,
online.
what it should be, yeah. It should be if you get like all of the managers, right, vote pro or like against certain actions that happen in the season through VAR.
Mm.
You can't vote for your own because who the hell's going to vote for someone else really anyway? But you
Yeah.
have to. Do you know what I mean? So if there's
But then does
one really
politics come
clear,
in? Does
if there's
politics
one,
come in? Do you get the bottom 5 teams then going, okay, we're going to gang up on Luton so they get relegated?
yeah, that's the shit thing, isn't
Do
it?
you know what I mean? It's. I think VAR and the refs need to take some onus on themselves and go, we got it wrong. We'll give you the goal back,
Yeah.
regardless. I
Well,
think the vote would work in the first half of the season. Second half of the season, I don't think it would because you've got people fighting at the top, you've got people fighting at the bottom. You know, other teams hate other teams, and there'd be too many politics in it. Then I think
there's not really a lot they can do, basically.
no, but I
They
would
kind of
love
shot
to. I
themselves
would
in the
love
foot.
to see him next season go right. If we make a mistake, we're going to give you that goal back. That's how confident we are in our decisions.
Yeah.
We're so confident that if we make a mistake, we'll give you
Yeah,
that goal back.
if we publicly come out and say, right, that we've got it wrong, here's an apology and your points, no one would bat an eyelid.
No, they wouldn't. And mate, it would fix so many errors, arguments, discussions, conversations, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
Fines.
yeah, because it would
It
go
would
it would
save
go
so many.
for and against your club, which
Yeah.
is fine
Yeah,
because that's neutral.
yeah. And
Which a lot of VAR
we
isn't
all look at
neutral.
it and go, "Oh, we got away with one there, didn't we?" You know,
VAR isn't
or we've
neutral.
seen
That's the
them
problem.
given. Like the one that's I can't remember who we were playing, but Max had his arm out, and it hit him on the arm, and it didn't get given, and I thought we've seen them given.
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, if that's going to VAR, you want to check that penalty for the handball, and it's still not given. You think, okay, phew, you know, this is a close game. We've been let off there. But then if it goes
the
in,
thing is, like, what annoys me is when there's a decision, for your club, no, against your club rather. No. When there's a decision for your club, yeah. There's so much bias online. It's so biased. Like the club bias is unreal. Like it could be the most obvious thing ever. It's like I've seen Mark Goldbridge come up and say that about the Onana situation that it wasn't a foul. And I've literally looked at it like I looked at it once and went, "That's a foul." Just because
same what
it's
we all
for
did with
your
the Sasha one.
just because it's for your club doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's gonna go the other way, and then you're gonna look like an idiot because you said that it wasn't a foul or you know what I mean. You have
if
to
that had
be.
if that had been at the other end, he would have slammed his chair to the floor and gone, "I'm turning it off."
Yeah, exactly. You have to not have club bias. I know it's hard because you've got passion for your club and everything, but
I
have
think
it so many
everybody does it
times.
to a certain extent. You think, "Oh, okay," like a cheeky foul. You think, "Oh, he's just muscling for the ball there, ref." But then it goes the other way, and it's a foul
Yeah.
on your player, and you think, "Come on, ref, that's a bit of a foul, isn't it?"
Yeah,
You
but
know what
I
I mean?
don't
There's
think.
that level of bias, but then you take it to the next level where people are making these bold statements and going, "That should have been a penalty," or "That should have been a goal," or "It should or shouldn't," and then they're looking and going, they're making themselves look like tits, basically,
Yeah.
and they're making themselves look biased. And I think if you're going to analyze a game or situations or ruling, you've got to look at it and go, "We've got to be fair here." And this is what VAR need to do. We've got to be fair. We've got to be consistent. And they're not.
Telling me, mate. Literally, that Bournemouth game was an actual nightmare. It was so
Mate,
toxic.
we genuinely didn't deserve anything from that game.
No, we didn't. But
We
it's just
played awful.
if that
And like
game
Barry
ended
said in
1-0,
yeah,
I'd have been like, fair play, Bournemouth. Well done.
yeah. Mate, it could have been 3-0 and I'd have gone hats off to him. We played
Yeah.
dire.
But
And Gary O'Neill said
it's
it
just this
was the
shit
worst.
that it's just this shit that they conjure up
Yeah,
with decisions
yeah.
that
I know we
frustrates us the
managed to
most.
get that goal back. It come out of nothing really, didn't it? We looked promising and
Mm.
we looked promising for probably the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes max of the game. And Gary O'Neill said, that's not good enough. That's not how you're going to win games in the Premier League.
No.
You know, the worst result or the worst performance that he's seen this season. And
That
to an
first
extent, I
half,
agree. I think we played awful. Yeah,
that
that
first
first
half's
half,
the worst I've seen us
yeah,
all season.
it was bad. It was really bad. I always phone my dad at half time and full time, and I said, Dad, what do you make of that? And he was like, I don't know, son. And I've just said, I
It's the
get
worst.
it.
It's
I
definitely the
understand.
worst.
Yeah,
It's 100% the worst I've seen us all season.
it's bad.
I've seen
Isn't
some shit games, but that one was like no one, not one area in the pitch was I felt confident with at all.
No, mate. The spaces, especially watching it on telly, you could see the space,
Yeah.
and I thought they are just running through our midfield. What is going on there? Like, and they were jogging back, and we were playing with the back three, but the midfielders were jogging back to get back in line.
Yeah.
And I was
But
thinking,
anyway,
I
we
don't
are
know.
going to talk about that game and the game that's just gone
We
in the
are.
next live. So we won't
We are.
talk about those games much more, although we really
Yeah.
want to dive into them straight
I
away, as
know,
you can
yeah,
see.
it's so tempting, and it's easy to get sidetracked onto them.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
think,
yeah.
oh,
So
we'll talk
from
about
what
it.
we've talked about with VAR, let's
Yeah.
come to some conclusion. So we now know a little bit more about the rulings of VAR, and we know a little bit more about what obviously the refs are thinking in certain situations and everything. Does it excuse some of the things that have happened to Wolves this season? Probably not, to be honest. But you can understand, you know, with all of the ruling and with all the things they have to do, and they've got no choice. You can understand why there's so many grey areas to VAR and to the decisions that they're making, and
Yeah.
that, in my opinion, is why it needs to just be scrapped and worked on in the background again,
Yeah.
because they can't just keep demoing it. They can't
Yeah.
just keep finding new drafts of
Well, what's
VAR.
it been now? It's like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, they can't just keep working on it. It's not a work in progress. You're
No.
literally playing with
Yeah.
people's lives.
You could understand for like the first 2 seasons, and then you get sick of it. Third season in, still getting the same errors. Fourth season in, still getting the same thing. And you're thinking, when's it ever going to get better? And this is
You
why
know what they
people
should.
get
You know what they should do.
so
Yeah, every season they're
graphic
gonna
now.
bring. Every season they're gonna bring in new things, right?
Yeah.
There's a shitload of pre-season games, isn't there? So why don't they just demo all of the things that they're going to do in that season
Yeah.
in the pre-season and just review it before
Yeah.
before they've even started the season? Review it and just tell the managers what isn't quite working at the moment
Yeah.
and what we're gonna do to make it better.
Yeah. It'd be
And
interesting
then
to see them actually listen to the managers and the
and then
managers
they might
actually having an
and then they
input.
might go, oh shit, yeah, nice, all right, cool, nice to see you guys, you know, doing your thing. And for all I know, they probably are doing that, but doesn't look like it for me because I haven't seen any progress. I've just seen it get worse.
Yeah.
Which
Look
is
how many have gone
really
against Wolves. Gary
concerning.
O'Neill's come out and said, I'm not even commenting anymore.
But
I
because he
can't be
gets fined
bothered.
for every
Yeah.
time he comments, he gets
Yeah.
fined.
And he's like, it doesn't even matter if he agrees or not. He can't even say whether he agrees or not, and that's so sad. It's like, why even as fans are we even bothered?
It's
Do
just
you know what I mean?
it's anti-football behaviour.
It's bad. It's shocking, mate. It really is. And you look at it and go, why do we even bother? And this is why so many people, like you say, aren't renewing the season tickets in so many different clubs because they can't be asked to watch that shit all the time.
So boring. I was literally falling asleep in the first half today. It was so boring. Because you don't know what they're doing backstage.
No.
You don't know whether they're looking at things through bloody, tinted glass or whatever. Right, nice one. It's been really cool talking with you, Kyle. I've had a really good time. I've learned a lot. I'm hoping you guys have as well. Obviously, videos like this in the future probably won't be as long as this, but obviously it's Kyle's first little foray into what we're doing on here.
Made my debut, haven't I?
Yes, he's made his debut. Good. All right, perfect. I really enjoyed that.
Haven't we?
If you liked what you heard, guys, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be really amazing. All of our details for Facebook, Instagram, what's the other one? Twitter, are all down in the description. So you literally one click away from getting to any of those. Give them a follow, give them a like. There's a lot of people in the Wolf Pack, and you're meeting a few now. Obviously, you've met John, you met myself. I know you met Matt before. You met Henry before. But there's a lot of people in the background doing a lot of work. And it really, really goes a long way by showing your appreciation by just clicking a button. It literally, honestly, it transforms every sort of thought that we've got going forward. Just seeing little numbers rise, trust me. It sounds really dumb, but it really does. But yes, we will be back on Wednesday for the next episode of Live with the Wolf Pack. We will be talking with some people you haven't met yet, and also a special guest, which I can't say yet because I'm scared he's going to say no on Monday. So if he hasn't, fantastic, and that'll be great. If he has, fair play. People are busy and whatever. But yeah, look forward to that. That'll be on all platforms, and it will also be on Spotify, which is really cool. So please head to our Spotify as well. I think that's in the comments as well. I've put it in the description as well. I think I put it in there. I might be lazy and not put it in there, but hopefully it's there. But yeah, basically, we'll see you around on whatever else we get into and everything. And yeah, till the next time, guys. I've been Dan.
I've been Kyle.
And we'll
Been
see
a
you
pleasure.
next time.
Cheers,
See you
guys.
later, guys. Bye.
Ta-ra.